everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Pitch Podcast. I am Adam Hayes, and this is my good friend Chris over here, the head editor at Meticulous Image. And today we have brought in the head man at Meticulous Image, our lead producer, Daniel Maitland.
Oh, shucks. Greetings. Hello.
We call him the Danimal.
It's great to be here. The Danimal, Danimania,
I like to call him.
Dandemonium.
Wow, I haven't heard that one. That's my favorite.
I just came up with that.
That's
now.
my favorite. That's my favorite.
I like the Danielle. Sometimes I call him Danielle.
Danielle? It's like that in French.
Yes. So,
Bonjour. Bonjour.
When you're visiting
Mais
Provincetown, you're Danielle.
I am the Daniel Maitland.
yes. He has a man known by many names in the good old Meticulous Image. And today I wanted to focus the conversation on trends that we see in media, commercials, film, even our own clients that they all kind of want a similar thing or a group of them. But I think we should start with kind of stuff we've seen in advertising over, let's say, I don't know, past 5 to 10 years. What kind of trends do you think we've seen in ads?
Well, a huge sort of a staple, a yearly notation of the trends is typically the Super Bowl.
Sure.
The Super Bowl.
Sure.
So, this year, did you watch the game, Chris?
I did. I watched the game and I watched all the commercials and I reviewed a lot of the commercials before we sat down here. My feeling was like the Super Bowl, by the time it makes it to a Super Bowl ad, the trend might have already been peaking.
Oh,
because they're working on those so far out.
Mm-hmm.
But you still see, these things in the Super Bowl ads, like e-commerce. We saw more e-commerce than we, I mean, it's building over time. But if you looked at TV 10 years ago, you don't see any e-commerce. It's just not that thing. The short forms, like the short catchy things. I think we're catching that. It's coming into advertising from TikToks,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're an older person, what were they? The Vines, remember Vines?
Yes.
Oh,
Vines.
so long ago.
Yes. Yeah, I know. Oh, what was that 3 weeks ago?
I love Vines.
But those things, but that's sneaking into advertising. They're like, we don't have to make long things. We can make short things that tie into a campaign that launches into the free media and the Instagrams and the Facebooks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's totally a trend, and that saves them money. Not great for us, but I think it is because that makes puts more people in the pool.
Well, it's challenging.
Yeah, and more people want to do it when they see that. So that gives us more customers in the end.
It's hard to shove a message into a short form and do it properly.
It is, but again, we're trying to ladder up to a campaign that goes to print and goes to the internet and all these other things. So once TV realizes we're not the king, well, we are the king. I think so, but we're part of a campaign. So it's print, it's television, it's events, it's internet, it's all these things. And the quicker that we realize that we're part of this thing and get with companies that have this whole vision, the better chance we have of being moving towards that trend. Something else I noticed in the Super Bowl particularly is lots of use of retro music. To appeal
like a throwback kind of thing?
Yeah, like the commercials are still modern, but they're using old like retro tracks,
like how old?
80s. No, like 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Like to appeal to us, the older folks, the 60s.
I think the 80s appeal to everybody.
Right.
I love the 80s.
And the 80s,
I'm a big 80s guy.
That 80s kind of theme is around for, I don't know.
Since the
probably
80s.
the past, I would say that they brought back the 80s for the past 6 years and different stuff.
Right.
And also to your, the shorter commercials, you see that all the time, especially during the Super Bowl. I think this started a couple years ago. I remember whenever it was the Cloverfield paradox thing happened where they showed 10 seconds of something and then they said it's on Netflix now.
Right.
So it's you didn't even, but most of the time they just don't want to pay those dollars. And especially for movies, if you drop a little tease, it's watch the full trailer here.
Right.
So
We've definitely seen that.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's a dollar save, but what it really is a level of interactivity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because, how many people... you're watching the Super Bowl in the more traditional sense where it's going to be Nielsen ratings that are going to gauge who is watching and when. And that is a small section. I mean,
Now, this Nielsen box will keep track of everything you watch, which helps us generalize the viewing habits of millions of Americans.
Oh, yes. And what was that beginning, middle, and end part again?
This Nielsen box will keep track of everything you watch, which helps us generalize the viewing habits of millions of Americans.
it's only a couple thousand people that have Nielsen boxes, unless it's changed now. I don't know.
I don't know. And Nielsen pulls off of your devices now too. In fact,
Okay,
if
so
you have an iPad and you put on, say, like I watch ATT Uverse on my iPad because I have a Uverse account at home, so I can watch TV anywhere. But when I log into that, it shows me a thing. Oh, all this data is being used for Nielsen. You're okay with that, right? And I'm like,
okay. So they don't know. Do you remember the days? There was like a point in
box.
college where people would clamor to try and get, because you would get paid to have the Nielsen box sitting in your home entertainment system.
Right.
But now, with urging the viewer to go to the website to view the full length commercial, well, now they have click throughs. Now the company themselves doesn't need to pay Nielsen, doesn't need to pay any sort of third party, to analyze that. They know that somebody in Idaho, somebody in wherever saw the ad and then jumped on their phone, jumped on their laptop or what have you, and went to that link, to that .com, and then they get to see how much retention there was for that spot.
We literally have one of our clients that is engaged in this solo stuff. They're direct to customer.
Yeah.
They run these ads on TV or ads on the internet, and people click through. They're buying direct from them, so they're not just selling a product. They're gaining customer insight that's deep. That they can aggregate and use and help to build their brand. So for sure, is that a trend? It is a trend.
Well,
it is a trend. DCE is direct to customer is a trend.
It's sort of a rudimentary form of interactivity, which is something we also witnessed this year at the Super Bowl. That was what was it? The QR code.
On the screen, where you're supposed to scan your screen. Yes.
I mean, I'm not sure whether that falls under second screen sort of advertising, this theory that, we watch multiple screens at once, therefore, we use multiple devices.
They know you have your phone out right there in front of your TV. Sure. Absolutely.
I was too much in food coma to worry about pulling out my phone and screenshotting or getting that QR code.
Yeah.
But
you lined up your cheat day with Super Bowl.
Yes, I did. The one of the things that I was thinking about, like going direct to or like getting people to go to their websites now, is that I see a trend of, I'm sure it's been like this for a while in commercials, but like either finding the spokesperson for your thing or developing a whole campaign. Like Pepsi had that Victory Town or whatever, where it's like the sheriff was always like, each commercial was almost like a micro episode of Pepsi Town or something like that. I don't
remember that one.
But each time they like try to drive these like stories like to the website.
That's genius.
Because finding a spokesperson is kind of what they like to do now. And I told you earlier that I think KFC nailed it with having it not necessarily a spokesperson like actor wise, but
it's a spokes character.
Yeah.
That different actors can inhabit from time to time.
Yeah, and being the colonel, that way you don't pay one person a ton of money over time, but you bounce to, let's get, Norm Macdonald, rest in peace, in here to play the colonel. Let's get
they had Daryl Hammond for a while.
Jim Gaffigan.
Mm-hmm. Gaffigan. Oh my gosh, that's right.
He would be the perfect.
It was kind of fun to guess.
He's so white.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
He's so white that it must have been really easy for him.
He was quite pale, that man.
I will also say that, even if it's not like a spokesperson per se, I feel like every single commercial that I've seen, there's typically always some sort of kind of like mixed couple that's always plays the couple in every single commercial, which I'm totally fine with. It's just interesting how things shift.
Oh my gosh, because when did we start seeing mixed couples in TV advertising? Not that long ago, when you think about it.
No. Right. I can't pick out anything in particular, but I just noticed how every single commercial of like laundry or
is that ahead of the curve on the whole United States, or are they trying to catch up?
with the rest of the world.
Well, they're advertising basically.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not running ads here for soap, in Taiwan, but just right here. Are they trying to make us better, or are we better and they're just reflecting that? I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't know if they looked at like statistics on, if
Their customers.
Yeah.
If they know their customers and their customers are,
or if it's just saying like, just trying to include as many people as possible, or
you just, people have realized now that video advertising, more people. I think there are people that have known this for years, but it can be you can gain cross sections of a variety of audiences just by including them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no question. Yeah, you want the people in your ads to look like the people that you're selling to.
Yeah.
I think that's why we have more plus size women in ads now too, because
perhaps
they've gotten some crap from the plus size women who've said you don't represent us. We don't want to just shop at the big girl stores. We want to shop everywhere.
How about the trend within advertising and just rebranding of companies of using the term plus?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Disney Plus.
Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
What are some other ones?
Well, it's got to be more.
Well, I think that the main thing that they're trying to do is
Hulu Plus. No.
Is there a Hulu Plus?
Well, isn't there ESPN? Or is that ESPN All Access or something like that?
There's a South Park episode that recently came out that highlight. Oh, they zoomed to like 30 years in the future once COVID is just ending. Is kind of the running joke. It's like they're finally.
Is that where they're older?
Yes, they're older, but everywhere you go, every Ross Dress for Less Plus.
Oh, everything's plus.
Yeah, there was some other terminology I forget, but
as we all know, when everything is plus, nothing is.
I think that comes down to they just want to use that. They have to have that name. It's like we have to have the Disney name because that represents everything Disney's done. But how do we do it in some sort of way that keeps our name in it? They're like, just throw a plus on there. Because, HBO Max made a mistake by calling it HBO Max.
Which is weird because they used to own Cinema.
The other one is Max.
And they used to own Cinema. Did they not?
No, yes,
Cinemax
they did.
still exist?
I think it does.
It does. Yes. I believe it does.
But I was just thinking...
Are we media people that know these things?
I'm just thinking that... They made a mistake because Warner Bros. Is like a staple of Hollywood. I mean, it's been around forever that they didn't name it Warner Bros. Like, they could have called it like the Warner Bros. Vault. Like, that would have been a cool way to do
but that would have aged it. Then people with Warner Brothers, it sound like these old black and white pictures and Donald Duck cartoons. Do that. I don't know. HBO/Warner or I don't know. Warner.
Speaking of the name Warner Brothers, I was attending Sundance a number of years ago. And Sundance used to have very humble sort of beginnings.
It was.
And it has since, in my opinion, developed into something that is. I don't think it's become quite the monster and has since progressed away from simply a place to advertise your film and more so a place to
see and be seen.
See and be seen, and go to Ragers. But there was
are people releasing like really edgy new films at Sundance anymore?
I mean, last time I attended was probably 5 years ago, I think. And
or is it all big Hollywood? Is big Hollywood taking over Sundance?
So hard. Oh yeah.
So you're not seeing the latest Korean films at Sundance.
Yeah, but I'm walking down the street
or maybe you are now.
Park City, Utah, and the place is jam packed. And I remember there was a group of these sort of stereotypical Los Angeles ladies with the rancher hat that they wear, and they're wearing their little cardigans and stuff.
They're right from Coachella.
And I heard she said something. I'm eavesdropping as we're going across a crosswalk, and she goes, "I think the Warner Brothers were 2 or 3 brothers that made movies, and that's what they did. And they have some movies here that are debuting." And it's like, oh my gosh. Well, I guess, yeah.
Are you here for the filmed entertainment?
Yeah.
Do you know anything about
They're
it?
there for the Lululemon store.
Yeah.
Yes. I think, and just to say that they were at Sundance during the Sundance.
Did you
Film
guys hear
Festival.
this rumor?
No.
I gotta verify if this is true. That Lululemon is partially named Lululemon because the creator of Lululemon thought it would be fun to hear Asian people try to pronounce it.
Oh my gosh.
This is what
Adam,
I
you're gonna have to do
Send
some
all your comments to
post-production
Dan
research.
at meticulousimage.com.
No, we need to. I don't know if you can do some sort of factual
I will.
title card.
I'll dig into
I
it.
do believe that there was a statement from this gentleman that that he thought it would be fun to,
We're going to Snopes that, and we'll be right
yeah,
back.
let's figure that out.
Yes, we will make sure that is fact checked.
There's a
But I think
In
advertisement.
fact, this segment of the Pitch podcast is brought to you by Snopes.com.
Not sponsored by Lululemon.
yeah, I don't think we ever will be after that.
After that, no,
Wow.
I think
But I
Even
would
though I
say-
like
but
Lululemon
we are
products.
we are plus on yoga pants.
yes.
I love mine.
The thing that I wanted to, I think Sundance probably changed a little bit in the early '90s. Whenever you had Tarantino, Soderbergh, all these like younger directors starting to, come through, and I feel like that kind of exploded it.
Well, again, and who came in and exploded it? It was the distributors. I mean, they come in and they, there's a couple of hot films at Sundance right when Sundance started,
Mm-hmm.
and it showed like Blair Witch and some things like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I'm sure there's some things like that that I'm
Like Pulp
missing.
Fiction showed there.
Yeah, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is where the good movies are, and the distributors just
yeah.
descended upon it,
Mhm.
and that's when you saw ridiculous deals too at first.
Yes.
For like, who gives Kevin Smith money now? Nobody.
Yeah.
But someone gave him money at Sundance.
What the fuck did I just hear?
Sundance? I like the sound of that. Sundance. It's Sundance.
Yeah.
Someone gave him some money at Sundance.
because he had Clerks and like Clerks 2, and I think those were big hits.
Yeah, they were. So like
Yeah.
he was showing up and he was getting lots
Oh
of
yeah,
money.
and then Linklater. I think didn't
Yeah.
he show what's his first
Was that
movie?
was that-
Slacker.
Yeah, he did. And then
Yeah.
then he did that questionable movie that was all rotoscope. Did you watch that?
Oh,
Scanner Darkly?
Yeah,
Yes.
Scanner Darkly. God, it was
He
so
did-
distracting to watch.
Yes.
Maybe it's because I'm like into that technique. So the whole
Mhm.
time I'm just looking at how they're breaking down all the animation. And there was a movie. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
It's a little bit of the problem with creating media. And to go back to the Super Bowl commercials,
Sure.
it's sometimes exhausting to watch them, and you find yourself analyzing them on a whole different level. You find, okay, well, how did they do that? What technique did they use? Were they using rear projection? Were they?
Especially because you have that technical brain.
Is
Right.
is that car fully 3D? Which is very often, folks, the car in that car commercial
Doesn't exist.
isn't real.
Yeah, they have a frame that has wheels on it, and it's adjustable. Actually, they can adjust the wheelbase and the width and all that, and it has all these tracking devices on it, and it has a camera capturing all the reflections and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they can lock any car 3D onto
Mm-hmm.
that and composite in, change the car color, change details on the car. Stunning. The only thing on the car that is there in real are the wheels and tires.
If there's anyone that plays like PlayStation, the new Gran Turismo. Gran
Right.
Turismo, who's ever played Gran Turismo
Hasn't come
knows
out yet, but it is.
it is beautiful.
Right.
And that just goes to show what sort of visuals can be rendered on the fly just from a computer sitting on your home entertainment system.
Yep.
So yeah, when you see those car commercials in the Super Bowl and many
Mhm.
other wherever else commercials play, typically speaking, not a real car.
Yeah, we're all going to be like absorbed by NVIDIA and the Unreal Engine in the future.
We already are. This is all
Everything-
simulation, Chris.
right.
None of this is real.
We have cameras looking at us through cameras through cameras, and
Right.
we're looking back at a simulated camera.
Wow.
Gosh, that'd be
Well, we're self-filming right now, which is a future trend that I see, because we already get a little bit from customers. Like they come to us with stuff that they've already recorded.
Yes.
You know, they've got their social things or their self-filmed things,
Yeah.
and they can film themselves, but gratefully they still don't know how to sort of put it together in a way that's polished.
Mm.
So I don't want to discourage. I don't want to encourage customers to self film, but if they're going to do it, that's good. But they still need to come to us so that we can polish it up and get it ready. In fact, this last month we did a bunch of commercials for the Slice box opener,
Yeah.
not knife, box opener. And when we were all done, we had to make all these different versions for the internet. You know, the Instagrams, the vertical ones, and that is a total trend right now. Taking whatever you do for TV and it goes on.
What would you call that? Cross-platform media? Like
just reformatting. Yeah, you're repurposing it. You're spreading it out.
Yeah, and I think that's where, for the most part, I think that's where us at Meticulous kind of separate, because of course we can create those ads for our clients that are a commercial or selling something, but I think we are the best whenever we, or you and our other head producer Austin, get to travel and do almost like a hybrid mini documentary of client testimonials. Because what's good about that stuff is, people will check out if you're selling something within 5 minutes.
Right.
Or not 5 minutes, 5 seconds.
If they sense they're being sold hard.
Yes.
Right.
In 5 seconds, they're going to check out.
Right.
But, whenever you shape almost like a sales around like something that seems almost more of an experience than selling something, you can, in my opinion, told in the right way, which we do, you can create a longer attention span for people who are like looking at a product. So, we've gotten to do a lot of different, almost like these cool testimonials where we get to travel, interview them, get to see these people use the product, and then we get to spin it into this mini documentary story that's really cool and entertaining, but also sells the item that our clients want to be sold. And I think that's
no pun intended, but we're selling the sizzle, especially when we do the solo stove webisodes that you and Austin go out and shoot all over the country. That we're not selling the stove to people. We're selling that experience. Look what you can do.
Yes.
Look at the outside and what John Merrick, that his core is like bringing people outside together.
Yes.
That's what we're selling, not the actual piece of metal.
Is selling.
Right.
Yes, that is always
video
the key.
sells. Video sells.
Absolutely.
Good quality video sells.
Right. And that's another huge trend that we're sort of in the wave of right now is people are getting that they need video. We used to just be big advertisers did video because it was too expensive, but now everyone's doing it. I mean, we get clients.
Well, it's obtainable now.
Right.
It still needs to be done right. Still needs to be done, to the best of
the cameras the fancy cameras don't do the work.
Yeah.
So a professional still needs to point it and control everything. But it's definitely more affordable. The cost per minute. I remember when I was working at an agency in Dallas in mid '80s, and it was $1,000 per finished minute. What is it now?
Yeah,
great question.
And that's what comes.
It really depends on what you're doing, but the kind of stuff we were doing, it worked out to be. We were doing car ads and jewelry store ads and junky local ads, but we would get $1,000 per finished minute, and I think now you can do better than that, especially at scale when you're making a lot of things. The more you make, your price per minute goes down for sure.
There's a whole other side to it, Dan. That's the selling of advertisement time, and now we get to programmatic advertising and things of that nature. I think what we provide here is a vehicle for programmatic advertising. It's sort of if you build it, they will come sort of thing. You have to be able to you take your brand and you put it on a vehicle. That vehicle could be a banner ad. That vehicle could be some sort of audio embedded in a podcast or any other sort of or
sky's the limit.
That vehicle can be video. So if you have a business and you're planning on doing some sort of advertisement campaign in this modern era, and that could be programmatic, video is probably one of the best vehicles to handle that. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
And even to raise it from good video, it's good story is what's going to sell your product. And we have the combination here that is good video mixed with good story. And I mean,
why, Dan? Because why?
Why do we have good story? Because good stories sell. good stories.
Because the
best story wins. That's what we say. Where the best story wins.
That's right, and that is so true. It's small and compact idea, but it is the truth that drives us.
And you know what that is? Enterprise cinema.
Enterprise cinema.
We're just jam-packing this full of meticulous image buzzwords.
Yes, we are.
But we get the job done here. So
yes, we do.
I mean,
time is a currency.
It's not bragging if you can do it. So.
There's one thing, one last topic I think we can totally have fun with is trends that we get to see in movies and with TV shows. Now, I know Dan is sometimes late to the party on some stuff with the TV shows. Like he's just now finishing Boba Fett, right? Or have you finished that one?
The Book of Boba Fett, I have not. I've watched one episode of that, but I started the morning show.
Oh, I want to watch that too on Apple TV. Yeah, and it's been on for like 3-4 years, right?
It's on season.
Is it?
No, it's season 2.
I didn't get an Apple TV till last year, so I couldn't watch it before that. And there's a lot to catch up on.
Yeah, season 2.
And I love my Apple TV.
I don't know. I watched the first episode last night, and I think very relevant, very applicable to everything that's happening in our news.
Now, who's in that? Jennifer Aniston?
It's Jennifer Aniston.
Reese Witherspoon. I think
Reese Witherspoon, Steve Carell.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
And a litany of other great talent, recognizable talent.
All right. Well, what kind of trends have we been seeing? Like, I mean, I can rattle off reboots, remakes, franchises. I mean, is there any other like? One of the trends that kind of gets on my nerves is whenever they do all-female like remakes or reboots of stuff that's already been done before instead of like creating original projects.
Well,
we're not anti-woman, by the way. We're not anti-woman. We're anti-taking a franchise and just swapping out all the characters for another gender. It'd be like if we made 9 to 5 with men.
But they have all these other things that you can create originally. You know, Mad Max. I think at some point they're gonna create the Furiosa movie that they've been trying to do.
There's enough separation in time though between the old Mad Max movies and these new ones.
There is a Furiosa movie in development,
production, yeah,
but it's an origin story, so it won't be Charlize Theron. Okay. They have another actress already picked out. But that George Miller has got like 4 or 5 more Road Warrior movies.
I hope we get to see them.
That are all about that. You know, they're not all Mad Max. You know, like Furiosa and
universe world building.
Well, the whole dystopian future. Mm-hmm. I mean, as much of a downer as it is, it's rife with storytelling.
I think I would do well in that environment.
Well, think about it. I mean, when things wrong, more dirt. You know, I mean, your day is like we need more rusty cans. I mean, you go to a junkyard and film. There's full of props.
I would just rock the post-apocalyptic universe. Just if that.
I mean, you already have like 8 outfits in your office.
Well, I have a story that I want to develop that I adapted from an original short story that I wrote into a screenplay, and it's post-apocalyptic and zombies and like Disneyland is all taken over by freaks and it's pretty crazy.
Disneyland isn't already taken over by freaks?
Sorry. This podcast is sponsored by Disneyland.
Have you been to Disneyland on like a Wednesday?
Again, address all your complaints and letters to Dan at meticulousimage.com.
Nowhere near a vacation time.
No kidding.
You should see.
When we were kids, it was so much fun, but now it's gotten so insane. Mm-hmm. You know, and I took my kids there, and it just got more and more and more.
I've never been to Disneyland. I have not been.
Well, don't go now because that would just be weird.
I want to go to the Universal.
You'd be like one of the guys that see how like Wednesday.
Universal Islands of Adventure is a ball. Mm-hmm. Is a ball, and that's where like don't they have a Marvel Land there too, or something, or is that going over to Disney now? I think.
Well, don't they? Didn't they like a couple years ago release the Avatar World?
Yeah, yes, friends of mine have been to that.
I hear that's phenomenal.
They said the rides were fantastic
because it's made by James Cameron.
Yes,
and he's raising the bar for everybody.
He's the mighty sense. In fact, I just watched Avatar a couple days ago.
James Cameron. I have met him, and he is cool. He is cool. He's very intense, obviously.
You think?
But when you're dishing out, when you're spitting the game, that dude's spitting.
Yeah, I mean, he's been to the deepest part of the ocean that only 3 or 4 other people have been there. He's been to the bottom of the challenge.
Him and Ed Harris?
By himself.
What secrets is he hiding?
I don't know, but by himself too. He went down in the bathroom in the spirit by himself. Didn't even have any. He's been with other people, but on that last ship that he helped design, he went down.
Wasn't The Abyss a documentary?
Maybe he just hates people so much that he's just like, God,
I think he thinks he's going to see something down there that can be another movie.
This is as far as, well, I mean, I guess the new Avatar flick, a lot of it takes place in the oceans of Pandora. So.
I will say this, though. He hates the aliens crew. That's who he hates. Because there's a fascinating documentary on him clashing with that British crew.
Right. That's right. Yeah, the British crew. They didn't appreciate his working style. But they made a good film, though.
Yes,
Isn't that the case sometimes where some of the worst sets were the most disorganized sets and somehow a movie comes out of it that's good?
Jaws.
Mm-hmm.
Jaws. Even Casablanca, the script was not finished when they started. Mm-hmm. Ronald Reagan was supposed to play the part that Humphrey Bogart eventually got. So wasn't done. They were writing it as they went, and boy, that's just a great film when you break it down and post-mortem. It's a really good film.
My thing with
bad films sometimes come, or good films sometimes.
Was that made by the Warner Brothers?
It was.
All three of them?
Well,
Did they bring it to Sundance?
Whenever it comes down to it, I'm fine with reboots and remakes because I don't have a problem with them if they're done, right. There's, a good amount of examples of good remakes or reboots out there. But whenever it's just like an obvious cash grab, it's like...
Can we name an obvious cash grab remake? There's got to be.
Ben-Hur.
The A-Team.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the A-Team. Now the A-Team was a movie of a TV show, though.
Yeah.
It wasn't a reboot of another movie.
But they remade Ben-Hur a few years ago, and it was terrible.
Oh, yeah. Why?
Yes, exactly.
Who did that?
I
don't even remember.
I don't remember the director, but it had...
did they have the good chariot chase and all that?
It had Jack Houston, and I think the actor's name is Toby Kebbell.
Ah, memorable actors.
I saw the original Chariot yesterday.
The original?
Yes.
Oh, right.
Original Ben-Hur.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Chariot.
But yeah,
we studied all those stunt guys that did all that work. I mean,
a few people die making that.
Oh yes. Some really gruesome injuries. I used to know the stuntman's name. I forgot.
Is it as bad as the Twilight Zone movie? All the accidents that were on that.
I think there was only one on the Twilight Zone.
Oh, okay.
But beheading Vic Morrow and a child he's carrying.
Yeah.
That's pretty big.
Was it the helicopter thing?
Yeah. The helicopter thing.
What was the director, producer?
That was
John Landis.
John Landis.
John Landis. Yes.
Yeah. And that's heartbreaking. I mean, when you see him, they have I watched some documentary he was in. He was talking about that specifically in like a dark chapter.
Mm-hmm.
When you're directing a film and someone dies, I have no way to process what that would be like.
No.
Well, on that note,
yes. I'll say,
Russ.
Remember, we are sponsored by Disney. We are sponsored by Lululemon, and we are sponsored by Snopes. I think we can wrap this up and just say that good video and good storytelling will sell pretty much any product, whether it's a part of a trend that's going on or no trend. So
we will ride the trends. We like to make our own trends, but we'll work with anything.
Yes, we will. Thanks for Dan for being on this episode, and hope you guys are doing well, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Take care.
All right.